Christchurch Mayor Phil Major. Hello to you, good to see you.
Good on you, mate. Good to see you too.
Let's discuss the Christchurch City Council almost paid $1.3 million to a resource and environmental management advisory company connected to Ngāi Tahu over the past 3 years, according to the Taxpayers Union. And the council, though, won't say what that money was spent on. Why not?
It's the short name for it is the shortened version called MKT. It's a group, an advisory group that looks after mana whenua and runanga interests on any developments that might be happening in the area and how it will affect that sort of thing. I'm the first to say I would like to see us spend less money on consultants, but it's a legislative thing that we have to do that. So we're doing it. I would still, rather than put the invoices out there and tell people what it's commercially sensitive, but I'd like to have a list of the jobs that they looked at, the projects that they looked at.
Yeah. Do you think we should release...
To give you an example, that they would be involved with that development in Glendowie Road where Brooksfield were doing something alongside a stream. So they have, when it comes to a stream or something like that, and it starts to get involved with setback and stuff like that, that's when MKT comes into its own.
So you don't have a problem with the council releasing the details as to what the money was spent on?
No. The projects, in my view, the projects that were done, not necessarily the time on each one and all that sort of thing, but to give people, like we went out and we talked about this and we talked about that, there's all sorts of things that they're involved with.
Yeah. So why not release the details?
Okay. Well, I only read about it in the paper this morning, so I'll go and have a yarn to someone.
The thing is, I think the council says it's commercially sensitive, but that's not quite the case because sometimes they do release details on things that could be classed as commercially sensitive, don't they?
Yeah, but commercially sensitive, the invoice is commercially sensitive. But if we put out the projects that they consulted on, that I don't see any problem with that at all.
Yeah, agree. So rates, as we know, are set to rise again this year. This shouldn't come as a surprise because this is what ratepayers voted for, but the Christchurch press pretended it was the biggest thing since a slice of bread, although they didn't question people who wanted rate increases, though, because they're left-leaning. But anyway, what should we look out for in terms of rate increases this coming term cycle? And what do you think residents can realistically prepare for?
What we've got, we're knocking around about 8.6 at the moment. We had a meeting yesterday in council. It was sort of a just councils only with a small number of staff, and it was probably the best meeting I feel that we've had at council for the last 6 years. Everyone was engaged. Everyone just comes through an election and they've all said, the thing that, apart from speed humps on main arterials, the main thing that everyone is worried about is the rates increases and the cost of living crisis. So everyone was well engaged on how we can look after that and get it down to as much as we can. And of course, the other thing that was spoken about was rates capping. Now, if that's coming, it's going to be forced on us. Some councils looking at going, this is our last hurrah, we can crank them up as much as we like. But that's disingenuous. We should be looking at keeping it as low as possible.
Yeah, I agree. What specific cuts are you willing to make to keep that household budget down in a cost of living crisis, as we know everything is getting so much more expensive now?
Yeah, we're looking at the capital program. It's all very well charging people for doing $700 million worth of capital work if we can only achieve 500 million. So there's some stuff that's come in there. Staff now know the mood of the room on what we can do and what councillors would like to do and maybe chop back on. So they're going away now. They were very happy with the discussion we had yesterday. So they're going away now and they'll come back to us next week and we'll discuss it further. But the vibe is positive in my view.
Good to hear. When will Paroi finally be open? When can you give us a firm date so Christchurch residents can get into that dive pool?
Next week will be, not next week, it's not going to go. Next week we'll advise when it is open, but it will definitely be before Christmas. You do know that the Special Olympics are coming along and they will be there, whether they're in before the opening or the official openings after it, I'm not quite sure, but I know the announcement will be next week.
Exciting stuff. And just finally, we've got China's third most powerful VIP, if you like, coming to Christchurch very soon.
Yeah, no, I'd like to say he's just coming to see me, but that's not quite right. Um, he's come to Auckland, shooting down to Wellington. Then he's going to be here to open a new Riwi Alley museum that we've got in the new done up municipal chambers. I've been to China a couple of times, and it's actually embarrassing that they revere Chinese revere the ground that Riwi Alley walks on. He has done so much for Chinese New Zealand relations, and here he is. He went to Boys High just down the road, born in Sheffield, and we've got diddly dot nothing. So we had 1,500 artefacts in the stored away, and that with work with the Chinese consulate and a number of very passionate people, we've got this set up, and this guy's coming down to have a look at it. So I'm very, very happy.
And if the one thing that Chinese people do well, it's always a decent ceremony, isn't it? They're so respectful and very nice.
Very respectful, yeah. So it's actually, I feel very honoured that he's coming down to see us.
Yeah, it'll be great. Christchurch Mayor Phil Major, thanks so much for your time. Have a great day.
Good on you, man. See you around.